The crystal chandelier cast dancing shadows across the ballroom as Natalie Blackwood adjusted her emerald silk gown for the third time. Tonight's charity gala at the Grand Hyatt was supposed to be perfect. Her father, Harrison Blackwood, the tech billionaire worth $50 billion, was announcing his latest humanitarian project. Her husband, James Mitchell, looked stunning in his tailored black tuxedo, his mysterious dark eyes catching the light as he spoke with potential investors. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. Natalie had married James 2 years ago. After a whirlwind romance that began when he approached her father's company with revolutionary energy technology, James claimed he had discovered a new form of clean power that could change the world. His presentations were brilliant, his prototypes were working, and his passion was infectious. Harrison had invested $200 million in James's company, Stellar Dynamics. But tonight, Natalie was about to discover that her husband's technology wasn't just revolutionary, it was literally out of this world. The evening began beautifully. Natalie mingled with Boston's elite, discussing the new children's hospital that would benefit from tonight's fundraising. Her father's speech about using technology to help humanity was moving, and she felt proud of the Blackwood legacy. Stood beside her, his hand warm on her lower back, his smile genuine as he listened to her father's words. "Ladies and gentlemen," Harrison announced from the stage, "tonight we're not just raising money for sick children. We're launching a new era of human cooperation and understanding." The crowd applauded, champagne glasses catching the light. James squeezed Natalie's hand, and she noticed something strange. His palm felt unusually warm, almost electric. When she looked at him questioningly, he just smiled and whispered, "Everything's going to change tonight, my love." She thought he meant the charity announcement. She had no idea he meant everything. The first sign something was wrong came during the silent auction. Natalie was bidding on a weekend in Martha's Vineyard when her phone buzzed with an urgent message from her father's security team. "Unusual electromagnetic readings detected around Mr. Mitchell. Please evacuate the area immediately." Before she could react, the lights in the ballroom began to flicker. Not just dim or brighten, but pulse in a strange rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. The crystal chandelier above them started to vibrate, creating an eerie musical sound that made everyone look up nervously. "James," Natalie whispered, touching his arm, "something's wrong with the electrical system." But when she looked at her husband, his eyes were glowing, not reflecting light, actually glowing with a soft blue radiance that seemed to come from within. His skin had taken on a subtle luminescence, and the air around him shimmered like heat waves on summer pavement. "Natalie," he said, his voice carrying a strange harmonious quality she'd never heard before, "I need you to trust me, no matter what happens next. Remember that I love you more than anything in this universe or any other." Before she could ask what he meant, the ballroom's massive windows exploded inward, not from force, but from some kind of energy that turned the glass into tiny sparkles that hung suspended in the air like floating diamonds. Through the opening came something that made everyone in the room gasp and scream. A craft unlike anything seen on Earth descended silently into the ballroom. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, made of what looked like liquid silver that constantly shifted and flowed. Lights pulsed along its surface, in the same rhythm as James's glowing eyes. The crowd panicked. Boston's wealthiest and most powerful people pushed and shoved toward the exits, their elegant gowns and tuxedos forgotten in their terror. But Natalie stood frozen, watching as the craft opened without any visible door or hatch. A figure emerged, tall and graceful, with skin that seemed to contain starlight and eyes like deep space. "Commander Zara," James said, stepping forward. "You weren't supposed to come yet." The being spoke, her voice like music mixed with wind chimes. "James Calthera, son of two worlds, your time of hiding is over. The Council has decreed that. Humanity must know the truth." Natalie's world shattered in that moment. Her husband stepped toward the alien being with familiarity, his human appearance beginning to shift. His skin took on the same starlight quality. His eyes deepened to cosmic purple, and strange, beautiful markings appeared along his neck and hands. "I'm sorry, Natalie," he said, turning to her with love and pain in his transformed features. "I wanted to tell you so many times, but the laws of both our worlds forbade it. I am James Mitchell, yes, but I am also Kael'thara of Ethros. My mother was human, my father was from the stars. The remaining guests who hadn't fled stood frozen. Phones raised, recording everything. Live streams were already broadcasting to millions around the world. Within minutes, every news network on Earth would be covering the story of First Contact. And her husband would be at the center of it all. Harrison Blackwood pushed through the crowd, his security team surrounding him. His face was a mixture of shock, betrayal, and something else Natalie couldn't identify. "You used my daughter," he said, his voice cold with rage. "You used my family to infiltrate Earth." "No," James replied, his alien features making his humanity seem even more precious to Natalie. "I fell in love with your daughter before I ever knew who she was. Our marriage had nothing to do with my mission." "Mission," Natalie whispered, her heart breaking. "What mission?" Commander Zara answered instead. "For 50 Earth years, we have been preparing your species for contact." James was sent to study human culture and identify those who could help bridge our worlds. His love for you was unexpected, but has proven that unity between our species is possible. The alien commander turned to address the crowd, many of whom were still filming. "People of Earth, we are the Ethrosi. We have watched your world grow and evolve. We have seen your capacity for both great love and great destruction. The time has come for you to join the galactic community. But first, you must prove you can accept those who are different." James reached for Natalie's hand, his touch still warm and electric, but now she understood why. "I'm still the man you fell in love with. I still wake up every morning grateful to be beside you. I still love the way you laugh at terrible movies and cry at animal rescue videos. The only difference is now you know why I never got sick, why I could fix any technology by touching it, and why I always knew when you were sad even when you tried to hide it." Natalie looked into his transformed face and saw the same kindness, the same gentle soul she'd fallen in love with. But she also saw the magnitude of the deception. For 2 years, she'd been married to someone who wasn't entirely human, someone who came from the stars. The sound of military helicopters approaching broke the spell. Through the shattered windows, they could see armed forces surrounding the building. Dr. Rachel Green, the government's leading xenobiologist, strode into the ballroom with a team of soldiers. "By order of the President of the United States," Dr. Green announced, "this area is now under federal control. All extraterrestrial entities will come with us for questioning." "No," Natalie said, surprising herself with the strength in her voice. "He's my husband. He's an American citizen." "He's an alien spy," Thomas Reed, her father's biggest business rival, called out from the crowd. "This whole thing is probably an invasion. Blackwood Technologies has been compromised." The accusation hit like a bomb. If James was seen as using their marriage to access classified technology through her father's government contracts, it could destroy everything the Blackwood family had built. Harrison's face went pale as he realized the implications. "Natalie, come away from him," her father commanded. "Security, escort my daughter to safety." "I'm not leaving my husband," she replied, moving closer to James despite her confusion and hurt. Commander Zara raised her hand, and suddenly every electronic device in the room stopped working. Phones went dead, cameras shut down, and even the military equipment outside began to malfunction. "We did not come for war," she announced. "Came because love has done what politics could not. The union of James and Natalie proves our species can coexist." But as beautiful as those words were, Natalie could see fear in every human face around her. Fear of the unknown, of change, of losing control. She realized that her love for James had just become the center of the most important moment in human history. James took her hand, his alien markings glowing brighter. "I have to go with them now," he said softly. "But this isn't over. Our love is stronger than their fear." As government agents closed in and alien ships appeared in the sky above Boston, Natalie made a choice that would change everything. She stepped forward, took the microphone from her father's abandoned speech podium, and spoke to the world. "My name is Natalie Blackwood Mitchell, and I am in love with a man from the stars. The underground government facility felt like a tomb. Natalie sat in a sterile white room, staring at the two-way mirror that she knew concealed cameras and officials watching her every move. It had been 3 days since the gala. 3 days. Since her world turned upside down? And she hadn't seen James since the agents dragged him away in specialized restraints. Dr. Rachel. Green entered the room carrying a thick file and a cup of coffee that smelled better than anything Natalie had been offered during her protective custody. The scientist was younger than expected, maybe 40, with kind eyes that seemed genuine despite the circumstances. "Mrs. Mitchell," Dr. Green said, settling across from her. "I know this is difficult, but I need you to understand what we're dealing with here." "What we're dealing with is my husband," Natalie replied firmly. "The man I've been married to for 2 years, who brings me flowers every Friday and makes terrible jokes during movies." Dr. Green opened the file, revealing photographs that made Natalie's breath catch, images of James from their wedding day, but enhanced somehow to show the subtle alien characteristics that human eyes couldn't normally detect. His bone structure was slightly different, his cellular composition unique. His brain activity showing patterns no human possessed. "He's been hiding among us his entire life," Dr. Green explained. "Born to a human mother and an Ethrosi father 28 years ago in a secret facility in Nevada. We've been tracking him since childhood, watching him integrate into human society. Tracking him," Natalie felt sick. "You mean spying on him? On us? For the safety of both species?" "Yes." Dr. Green leaned forward. "Natalie, may I call you?" "Natalie, what you witnessed at the gala wasn't just first contact. It was the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy that both our civilizations have been waiting for." Dr. Green pulled out a tablet showing symbols that seemed to shift and move on the screen. "This is from the Ethrosi archives, translated by James himself over the past 5 years. It speaks of a bridge between worlds, a union born of love, that would unite two species in peace." The symbols were beautiful, flowing like water and light combined. As Natalie watched, they seemed to form pictures of two figures. One clearly human, one with the starlight skin of the Ethrosi, their hands joined while stars swirled around them. "The prophecy states that when the child of two worlds finds true love with the daughter of Earth's guardians, the time of unity will begin," Dr. Green continued. "Your father's technology empire, his work with clean energy and space exploration, his humanitarian efforts, they've made him one of Earth's most influential leaders. You're not just any human, Natalie. You're exactly who James was destined to find." "Destined?" Natalie laughed bitterly. "So our entire relationship is just some cosmic plan? Our love isn't real?" "That's where the prophecy gets interesting," Dr. Green said with a small smile. "It specifically states that the union must be born of genuine love, not arrangement or duty. The fact that James fell in love with you before knowing your identity, and that you love him despite learning his true nature, is what makes this miraculous." A new voice interrupted them. "It's also what makes it dangerous." Thomas Reed entered the room, flanked by 2 military officers. Harrison's business rival looked smug as he settled into a chair uninvited. "Natalie, your father sent me to bring you home. This alien infiltration of our family ends now." "My father didn't send you," Natalie said coldly, "and James isn't an infiltration. He's my husband." "Your husband is a security threat," Reed replied. "His technology, the energy systems he's developed, they're all based on alien science. Do you have any idea how that could be weaponized? How it could destroy our entire economic structure?" Dr. Green stood up sharply. "Mr. Reed, you're not authorized to be in this facility." "I'm authorized by the President's emergency powers," Reed said, producing official documents. "The Blackwood Technologies assets are being seized for national security review. That includes anything connected to James Mitchell and his alien technology." Natalie felt the walls closing in. This wasn't just about her marriage anymore. This was about fear, greed, and the human tendency to destroy what they didn't understand. "Where is my husband?" she demanded. "Safe," Dr. Green assured her, "but he's not alone anymore." On cue, the room's main screen activated, showing a secure communication feed. James appeared, but he wasn't in a cell as Natalie had feared. Was in what looked like a comfortable meeting room, and beside him, sat the most beautiful being Natalie had ever seen. The woman was clearly Ethroside, with the same starlight skin and cosmic eyes as Commander Zara, but there was something familiar about her features. When she spoke, her voice carried the same musical quality as the other aliens, but with warmth that reminded Natalie of a mother's love. "My daughter," the woman said, looking directly at Natalie through the screen. "I am Lirelei, James's mother." Natalie's mind reeled. His mother is human. He told me she died when he was young. Sarah Mitchell was my human identity, Lirelei explained. I came to Earth 30 years ago as part of the first Peaceful Contact mission. I fell in love with your world, and with James's father when he followed me here. Our love created something unprecedented, a child who could truly belong to both worlds. James leaned forward, his hybrid features more pronounced but somehow more beautiful than ever. "Natalie, I know you're confused and hurt. I know the deception feels unforgivable, but everything else was real. Every laugh we shared, every quiet morning, every dream we made together, that was all real. The technology you developed, Red, interrupted. Give us the specifications. Show us how to replicate it without alien interference." "I can't do that," James replied calmly. "The technology isn't just science, it's a bridge. It requires harmony between human innovation and ethrosy. Understanding? It was meant to be shared, not weaponized." Reed's face darkened. "Then you're useless to us. The marriage is annulled. Natalie comes home, and you disappear." "No," Natalie's voice cut through the tension like a blade. "I choose James. I choose love over fear. You choose treason, Reed." Snapped. "Your father's company will be destroyed. Your family's reputation will be ruined. You'll lose everything." "I'll lose everything that doesn't matter," Natalie replied, looking directly at James through the screen. "But I'll keep everything that does." Lirelei smiled, and for a moment the screen filled with soft golden light. The prophecy speaks true. Love conquers fear. Understanding defeats ignorance. But there is more you must know. The screen changed, showing images of space that took Natalie's breath away. Massive ships, not threatening but magnificent, moving between stars. Cities of light floating in the void. Beings of different species working together in harmony. "The galactic community has been waiting for Earth to join them for centuries," Lirelei explained. "But we could not force contact. Your species had to choose unity over division, love over fear. The test was whether humanity could accept someone like James, someone who bridges two worlds." Dr. Green was taking frantic notes. "How many species are out there? How long have you been watching us?" 47 species in this sector alone." Commander Zara's voice joined the conversation as she appeared on screen. "We have watched your kind struggle with prejudice based on skin color, religion, nationality. We needed to see if you could accept differences far greater than those." "Some of us can," Natalie said firmly. "But others will always choose fear, which is why the next phase must begin now," Lirelei announced. "James, my son, it is time to come home, both of your homes." The screen shifted to show the most incredible sight Natalie had ever witnessed. A ship, unlike the small craft from the gala, descended through Earth's atmosphere. But this one was massive, beautiful, beyond description. It looked like a crystal palace made of starlight, with gardens visible through translucent walls and waterfalls that seemed to flow upward. "The harmony," James explained, his voice filled with wonder. "The ship that connects all worlds. Natalie, they're offering us a chance to see both civilizations, to truly understand what unity could mean." "It's a trap," Reed declared. "Trying to abduct key humans." "It's an invitation," Dr. Green corrected, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. "This is the opportunity of a lifetime." Alarms began blaring throughout the facility. On emergency screens, they could see the massive ship hovering over Washington, D.C., not threatening but impossible to ignore. Military jets circled it uselessly. While millions of people around the world watched the live feeds, "The choice is yours, daughter of Earth," Commander Zara said to Natalie. "Will you trust love, or will you let fear win?" Outside, Natalie could hear shouting, running footsteps, the sounds of a world in chaos. She thought of her father, probably terrified and angry in equal measure. She thought of the life she was leaving behind, the comfort and security of being Harrison Blackwood's daughter. Then she looked at James on the screen, at the love in his transformed features, and she made her choice. "I'm ready," she said simply. The screen went white with golden light, and when it cleared, Natalie was no longer in the government facility. She was standing in a room that seemed to be made of clouds and starlight, with James beside her and the most incredible view of Earth hanging in space before them. "Welcome aboard the Harmony," James said, taking her hand. "Welcome to our new beginning." But as they watched, Earth grew smaller below them, and Natalie realized that their greatest test was still ahead. They had chosen love, but now they had. To prove that love could save two worlds, the Harmony was more beautiful than any palace Natalie had ever imagined. Gardens floated in zero gravity, flowers releasing fragrances that seemed to sing, waterfalls flowed in impossible directions, creating music as they moved. Through crystal walls, she could see Earth growing smaller, but also more beautiful, a blue jewel against the darkness of space. "It's overwhelming at first," James said, his hand warm in hers as they walked through corridors that seemed alive with light. "But you'll adjust. Humans are more adaptable than you know." They weren't alone. Natalie could see other beings moving through the ship, some humanoid, others completely alien, all coexisting peacefully. A creature that looked like living crystal waved at them with appendages that sparkled like diamonds. A being made of what appeared to be flowing water nodded respectfully as they passed. "How many species are here?" Natalie whispered. "Representatives from the 47 civilizations of this sector," Commander Zara explained, appearing beside them with the fluid grace that seemed natural to her people. "They have all come to witness what we hope will be Earth's acceptance into the galactic community." But as they reached the ship's central chamber, Natalie realized this wasn't just a diplomatic mission. Through the massive observation windows, she could see something that made her blood run cold. Dark ships were approaching Earth, their design completely different from the elegant Ethero sea vessels. "The Void Seekers," Lirelei said grimly, joining their group. "We had hoped they wouldn't find Earth so soon."
"Who are they?"
Natalie asked, though something in her gut already knew the answer wouldn't be good. "A species that consumes other civilizations," James explained, his hybrid features darkening with concern. "They've destroyed 12 worlds in the past century. They're drawn to planets that are about to evolve to the next level of consciousness." "Like Earth," Commander Zara added. "Species is on the verge of joining the galactic community. Evolution creates a unique energy signature that the Void Seekers can detect from across the galaxy." Through the windows, Natalie watched in horror as the dark ships surrounded Earth. They were massive, angular things that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Even from this distance, they radiated menace. "Can't your people stop them?" Natalie asked desperately. "Not alone," Lirelei replied. "The galactic community has strict laws about interfering with developing civilizations. We can only act if Earth chooses to join us willingly. But if we wait too long to decide, there may be no Earth left to save." So this is a test, Natalie realized. Humanity has to choose between isolation and unity, between fear of the unknown and trust in something greater, not just humanity. Commander Zara said softly, "You, Natalie, the prophecy is clear. The bridge between worlds must be forged by love, and that bridge must hold strong enough for both species to cross." The ship's communication system activated, showing scenes from Earth that made Natalie's heart ache. Her father was on every news channel, his face haggard as he pleaded for her safe return. Military forces were mobilizing worldwide. Protesters filled the streets, some demanding the aliens leave, others begging for peace. "Dad," she whispered, touching the screen where Harrison Blackwood stood at a podium. "My daughter Natalie is somewhere out there," Harrison was saying, his voice breaking slightly. "If you're listening, please come home. We can work through this together." Thomas Reed appeared beside Harrison at the podium, his face a mask of false concern. "The Blackwood family has been manipulated by these creatures. We demand the immediate return of all human captives." "I'm not a captive," Natalie said firmly. "James, can we communicate with them?" "Yes, but once we do, there's no going back. Earth will have to choose right now, whether to trust us or fight us." Natalie looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives of dozens of species. Beings who had overcome their differences, who had chosen cooperation over conflict. Then she looked at James, her husband. The bridge between two worlds who had shown her that love could transcend any boundary. "Open the channel," she said. The screen shifted to show a live feed that was broadcasting to every device on Earth. Natalie stood before the camera, James beside her, both of their hands glowing with the strange energy that seemed to connect them. "People of Earth, this is Natalie Blackwood Mitchell. I am safe, I am here by choice, and I have seen something that will change everything you believe about our place in the universe." She gestured to the chamber around them, allowing the camera to capture the incredible diversity of life that filled the ship. "We are not alone, we have never been alone. Right now, we face a choice that will determine whether humanity survives to see tomorrow." The view shifted to show the Void Seeker ships surrounding Earth, their dark hulls beginning to pulse with malevolent energy. "Those ships contain a species that has destroyed 12 worlds," Natalie continued. "They're here because humanity is evolving, becoming something greater than we ever imagined possible. But evolution requires courage, requires us to choose. Love over fear, unity over division." James stepped forward, his alien heritage clearly visible, but his humanity shining through. "I am James Mitchell, born on Earth to human and Ethrisy parents. I have lived among you my entire life. I have loved your music, your art, your capacity for both great kindness and terrible cruelty. I married Natalie not because of some cosmic plan, but because she saw goodness in me when I couldn't see it in myself." The camera pulled back to show them holding hands, and suddenly, their combined energy created something incredible. Light flowed between them, not just the gentle glow they had shared before, but something that seemed to touch every being in the chamber. The alien representatives stepped forward, adding their own energy to the growing radiance. "This is what unity looks like," Natalie said, her voice carrying to every corner of Earth. "Not sameness, but harmony. Not the loss of our humanity, but the expansion of it." On Earth, the response was immediate and divided. Some military forces powered down their weapons and looked to the sky with wonder. Others prepared to fire on anything alien. Protesters clashed in the streets. World leaders argued via emergency video conferences. But then something unexpected happened. The energy flowing from Natalie and James began to resonate with humans around the world. People who had shown kindness to strangers felt a warm glow in their chests. Couples who truly loved each other found their connection suddenly stronger. Children who had been afraid looked up at the sky with curiosity instead of fear. "The bridge is forming," Lirelay whispered in amazement. "Love is calling to love." Through the ship's sensors, they could detect the growing network of connected hearts across Earth. Not everyone was joining it, but enough were. Enough to create critical mass. The Void Seeker ships responded to this growing unity with violence. Dark energy beams lanced toward Earth's major cities. But as they struck, something incredible happened. The beams were absorbed and transformed. By the network of love Natalie and James had created, the destructive energy became healing light, repairing damage instead of causing it. "Impossible," Commander Zara breathed. The prophecy spoke of unity, but this is evolution in real time. On Earth, Harrison Blackwood stood in his Boston office, watching the alien ship's weapons turn to healing light as they touched his world. For the first time since the gala, he smiled. His daughter had found something worth more than all his billions. "Thomas," he said to Reed, who stood beside him in shock, "prepare to liquidate all defensive contracts. We're about to enter an age where weapons are obsolete." "You can't be serious," Reed sputtered. "This could be a trick, a way to weaken our defenses." "This is my daughter choosing love over fear," Harrison replied firmly, "and I choose to trust her judgment." Around the world, the same choice was being made by millions of people. Not all of them, but enough. The network of connected hearts grew stronger, creating a protective field around Earth that the Void Seekers couldn't penetrate. Frustrated by their inability to destroy or consume Earth, the dark ships began to retreat. But their leader, a being of shadow and malice, sent one final transmission. "This victory is temporary, children of light. We will return when your unity falters, when fear divides you again. Love is fragile. Darkness is eternal. As the Void Seeker ships disappeared into the depths of space, the chamber aboard the Harmony erupted in celebration. Beings from dozens of species embraced their joy, creating waves of warm light that filled the ship. Earth has passed the test, Commander Zara announced formally. Welcome to the galactic community. But Natalie barely heard the celebration. She was focused on James, on the way his hybrid features had become even more beautiful as their love had saved two worlds. What happens now? She asked. Now we go home, he said simply. Both of our homes. The Harmony descended toward Earth, but it was no longer the same planet they had left. The network of unity Natalie and James had created was visible from space, a web of golden light connecting every continent. The cities glowed with harmonious energy. The oceans sparkled with new life. They landed in Boston. Natalie saw her father waiting for them. Harrison Blackwood looked older than when she'd last seen him, but there was peace in his eyes. Beside him stood Dr. Rachel Green, no longer a government scientist, but Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community. Welcome home, Harrison, said as Natalie and James stepped off the ship. Both of you. The reunion was tearful and joyful. Harrison embraced James without hesitation, accepting his alien son-in-law completely. Around them, humans and Ethrosi worked together, sharing technology and knowledge that would transform Earth into something magnificent. The prophecy is fulfilled, Lirelei said, watching her son and daughter-in-law surrounded by both their families. Love has united the stars. But as Natalie looked up at the night sky, now filled with friendly ships and new possibilities, she realized this wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. Humanity had chosen unity over fear, love over hatred. They had passed their first test as a galactic species. What's next? She asked James, as they stood together under alien stars that no longer seemed foreign. Everything, he replied, pulling her close. We help our two species become one people. We explore the galaxy together. We show other worlds that love really can conquer all. Above them, the stars seemed to pulse with approval, and Natalie knew that their greatest adventures were still ahead. They had proven that love could bridge any gap, overcome any obstacle, unite any two hearts, no matter how different they seemed. Their story had become legend, but their life together was just beginning. In the distance, the first human Ethrosi children were being born. Hybrid beings who would never know a world divided by fear. It would grow up among the stars, citizens of a universe where love had already won. And in a small house in Boston, Natalie Blackwood Mitchell and James Calthar Mitchell began their new life together, surrounded by two families, two species, and infinite possibilities.